Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to do a 2-for-1 review where we step back in time just a little bit to the kind of early days of the Transformers Cyberverse line with Warrior Class, Optimus Prime and Megatron. I mean, by the way, this is the Cybertronian mode Megatron, which explains the dual-barreled fusion cannon. I mean, they might be good, right? Right? Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. Let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. And this is the Warrior Class Optimus Prime and Megatron. Both of these guys are on loan to me by a good friend of the channel, Maximal10. I didn't have the highest of hopes because I'm not a gimmick guy, and I usually find that gimmicks really kind of hurt the overall offering. Not always, but a lot of the time. What was the case here? Did it hurt it? Did it help it? Did it make no difference? Well, how about we head over to the table and take a closer look at these guys. And yes, indeed, today we have a little bit of a 2-for-1, so to speak, because honestly, neither one of these deserves their own dedicated review as far as I'm concerned. If you will recall, when Cyberverse started, I said then that, you know, there's a lot of things in this line that looks like it could have potential, but it all kind of became this gimmicky sort of junk stuff. And Warrior Class was the closest thing for a long time that we had to Deluxe Class. Thankfully, they finally did a Deluxe Class line, and I would venture to say that those are the best things that Cyberverse ever put out. They were really, really good. So what about the Warrior Optimus and Megatron? At the very least, was I being a little too critical or not? Well, we're going to see. How about we look at one at a time? I don't have the instructions or packaging or anything, but let's kick things off with Optimus first. And so let's kick things off here with Optimus Prime first, and yeah, I guess nothing to do but start scores, right? In terms of look for the guy, he's alright. He's missing some light details on his toes, but I'm not surprised. Maybe a little bit of black on his knee. The space on this thigh for the axe to go in alt mode is pretty unsightly, but I get why it's there. I mean, you could have avoided it if you just didn't have the axe gimmick to begin with, but you know, whatever. Normally I would applaud the all red arm, but in Cyberverse, the arm is actually supposed to have a gray bicep. So we don't have that. We do have the fist a nice color though. The other arm doesn't have a fist. The head is alright, the chest is alright, the torso is pretty good. I mean, it'd be nice if there was a little paint detail, but like, I get it, it's alright, it's okay. I think overall for a look for Optimus Prime, specifically Cyberverse Optimus Prime, this pulls it off alright. It's about an 8, honestly. It's about an 8. Let's do the articulation, which is where this guy is the weakest. So for the articulation, head, nothing. Arm can go all the way around, and there's a button back here, and that's what makes this thing pop out, which, I mean, you pretty much want, because honestly, there's no fist there, no elbow, no bicep, can't go out, no lateral movement. Then we get to this arm, no lateral movement out. Yeah, it can go all the way around. No bicep swivel, no wrist. We have an elbow to 90 degrees. Nothing at the head that can't move. So basically everything from, I'll say the chest up, failure, garbage. But we do have a swivel, and I say chest because it's not a waist swivel, it's a chest swivel. The legs can go all the way, well, not all the way out, but they go out as far as you're probably ever going to want them. Forward, back, again, probably about as far as you're ever really going to want it. We have a 90 degree at the knee, and we have a hip swivel more than a thigh swivel, no ankle or anything like that. It's missing a lot. The arms especially, a lot I could forgive, but the arms and like nothing at the head, I can't forgive that 5. It's not good articulation. It's really not. And I think a lot of it is because of the gimmick. Now that being said, even if the gimmick wasn't there, the whole design of the shoulder is just bad. It's not a good design, man. Let's do the transformation and see how that makes things play out. So we're going to begin by turning the entire waist around and putting the legs together, because that's the easiest thing to do. We're going to push the head down and bring the section of the truck up. We're going to bring this back, and we're basically going to just angle this in. That gotta go back. And we kind of push all of that together in around the side. It's not elegant. When we come to this side, we're going to basically take the shoulder out there and begin to bring it back, bend at the elbow, and then same thing, we bring it all in on the side. Now we're going to bring up the leg, and you can see where the axe is. It needs to go in that slot on the leg, right? So we bring up the legs, and really, boom, in the end here we have Optimus Prime in his truck mode. I think it's an okay truck mode. I wish something was done with the toes, but like it's all right for what it is, I guess. They really didn't need that axe thing. I'm gonna give it, I don't know, it doesn't roll the bet. I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give it an 8. So we have an 8, a 5, and an 8. That's Optimus. What about Megatron? Okay, so for Megatron, for the look, I think it's pretty darn good. Not perfect, mind you, but pretty good. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up. So the lower shins here are gray. Really, they should be black. And we should have like little things on the sides of his legs, basically. The legs here are kind of black instead of being a silvery color. So like the legs are, the color's sort of reversed on those. The pelvis should be gray with a couple of red dots. The torso is mostly right. The head is mostly right. The arms look mostly right, although you don't need that pink detail. Now, to be fair, I kind of let a little bit of leeway here because this is his Cybertronian mode. So maybe his legs and whatnot are supposed to be a little bit of a different color with that mode. I mean, case in point, his fusion cannon this time has 2 barrels rather than 1. So I'm going to let it off a little bit. It's obviously Megatron. Yes, it's stylized, but like I said, it's supposed to be a Cybertronian mode. I'm gonna say it's an 8. Again, I don't think it's too bad there. The articulation for the guy, we have a head that does nothing. This arm over here, when you bring it up, of course, there's a little button up here, right? To bring his arm up, and then that comes out like that. That's the gimmick. That's why there's no elbow and no outward movement, no anything. This arm over here, it's supposed to tab in right there, but it doesn't really stay tabbed. Nevertheless, you can get way out. We do have an elbow, no bicep. The arm can go all the way around, no wrist. Getting this trash arm up out of the way. No waist, bummer. Leg all the way forward, leg all the way back. Kind of a ratchet, soft ratchet knee, which is nice. No ankle tilt or anything. No thigh swivel or anything. Again, much like Optimus, there's a lot of allowances taken here for the sake of the gimmick. I'm gonna say 5. Again, I don't think it's great. Let's do the transformation for the guy. So that comes up around, I guess this piece goes in here. This is, there we go. We pull that up to get that in. And then this will come around, and this red peg will go into this over here. I think the red peg is painted, so you're probably going to scrape paint off in time, I would think. Maybe. Then we come to the legs, and they should open out and open. And I always pop that one off. I'm going to have to get it back on. So take 2 at the transformation. As I said, I don't have instructions. I was doing a couple of things wrong, so I figured the best thing to do is start it over. Intuitive? Not really. So the arm, both arms go up. I detest this. I don't like gimmicks, and this is a failure of one. this comes over and this comes over, and both of these tab in on the cannon. Paint will definitely come off of this red. And again, that's out. Like, this is nothing but a nuisance, honestly. Then we take the legs, which I tore apart, and we open it out, and we open it out. We bend up at the knee, and there's a little opening right here that goes over a little rectangular tab on the hip. So we bring this up on the side, and it will eventually tab in. I don't have it tabbed in there now. This one up, and it too will eventually tab in, though it doesn't like to stay tabbed in. And then this comes forward. I'm just going to solidify it, but you know, basically, boom, in the end here is Megatron in his hover tank mode, transformation 5. So here's a closer look at the tank. Why am I giving it a 5? Because there's a couple little tabs under the arms that are supposed to lock in part of the leg. It doesn't really do it. The pieces that are supposed to go up here on the hips don't really stay in. Like, this is not at all solid. That's why it's only getting a 5. So on the whole, for both of these guys, Optimus had an 8, an 8, and a 5, right? An 8 for transformation and an 8 for his look, a 5 for articulation. Overall, Optimus is about a 6.5, maybe a 7. The Megatron was a 5, a 5, a 5, and an 8. An 8 for his look, a 5 for articulation, and a 5 for transformation. Overall, he's about a 6. On the whole, both of these warriors are maybe a 6. They do definitely have their merits, but I think that they're more of an introduction to Transformers rather than something that is really collector based, right? And I guess that was the intention all along. That being said, if this was my first introduction to Transformers, would I be enthused to go forward? Probably not. The limitations here would be enough to turn me off. So take that for what you will. Overall score for both, between both, is about a 6.5 from me. And here we are once again, and here they are. Let's take one at a time. Optimus Prime first. From the mid-chest down, the guy's great. You know, not perfect, but certainly for the cost, great. But the head with no movement, the absolute garbage arms and shoulders, both, on both sides, absolute garbage. As far as I'm concerned, completely ruins this. If I was someone who's making a decision on products and whatnot, and this is the design that came across my desk, I would throw it, literally throw it across the room and say, do better. This isn't good enough. This isn't up to my standards. I don't like anything about it, unfortunately, other than, like I said, the legs and the chest down, but like, oh, I don't like its orange axe. I don't like no elbow. I don't like no outward movement. I don't like the head not able to move. I mean, I could look past the head, but I don't know. If the arms were better, I'd probably be different, but this feels like a failure to me because of the arms. Then we get to Megatron, and Megatron he's mostly okay, honestly, except for this arm over here. This is garbage, and what a waste. And honestly, it's so easy to pop out his mace thing, or his flail, or whatever you want to call it. It's nothing but a nuisance and an annoyance, and I don't like it. And his alt mode doesn't stay together. I don't think either of these are a good product. I don't think that either of these represented just how good Cyberverse was capable of being. I think when they're put next to the deluxes, they can't hold a candle. I don't really know why these exist, and don't get me wrong, there are some warrior offerings that I thought were good. It's just these two aren't it. They're deluxe class offerings, as far as I'm concerned, infinitely better than either of these gimmick-laden offerings. Let me know what you think about Warrior Optimus Prime and Megatron. Maybe you liked the gimmicks and didn't care about the loss of articulation like yours truly. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through spring. Or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel. Man, is it warm here today. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.